to me, this notion that really the tools that we use change everything. They really transform more than just what you can do with the tools. You know, the wheel was sort of fun. You could roll it down the hill. You know, you could put it on a stick and play games with it. But man, you got it hooked up to a cart and that donkey, and everything changed about how far that next town was away, and how you could move things and build things and bring in groceries. You know, all those things that you did when that came in. So, you know, you can always think of a tool as just that thing you take out of the box and, you know, use. You can always think of it that way, but that's always too narrow. Tools always transform reality. They transform the circumstances around them. They change in one way or the other everything, because you can do what you can do with it, because the outcomes are different, because the culture responds to the tools. So it's more than a tool, you know. And you know, you bring that to media. Oh, it's just television. You know, it's just TV. Yeah, but you know, essentially, gee, let's see, the breakup of the nuclear family. Now, all TV's fault? No, but contributed to by the effects of television? Sure. That's a pretty big change. You know, oh, it's just TV. You know. So these tools embody sort of the principles of a given culture. That's what McLuhan was talking about when he said, you know, the real change is the change in ratio, the sense ratio. The real change is the change of the infrastructure, not whether it's electric or print or television or radio. It's the change in the whole infrastructure. Okay? And they don't just enable, they also constrain. You've heard that old joke about, you know, if all you have is a hammer, all you see is nails or things to hit. You know, they don't just enable. Tools also constrain. McLuhan also talked about, but Postman more than McLuhan, using McLuhan, talked about mediums having preferences. On the one hand, they're not deterministic so that you can't do something, but they have preferences. You know, Postman used to say television is lousy with serious ideas, and especially text. It just doesn't go through there very well. You know, you put up a few pages on a TV screen and people start reading it, and pretty soon it's like, you know, turning the windshield wiper on and the data's kind of going like the water. It gets crashed in both directions. There's just nothing left, nothing sticks. You can test this anytime you want. You know, I like good television too sometimes, but not as much as most people I know. But, you know, you can take a good television show that is on PBS that is supposed to teach you a lot, and you can sit down and you can watch it very intently and really pay a lot of attention to it and get a lot out of it. Feel like you learned a lot. And then just give yourself a quiz the next morning. And what you'll come up with is that you don't remember very much of anything, except you have a feeling about it that you didn't have before. That's what TV does. And that's sometimes really good, and it can be kind of educational. You get a positive feeling about it. Or you get, you know, I saw this atrocity and in the morning, and I want to do something about that. But if somebody said, so where was that? And how many people was it? And what were the names of the people who were involved? And what was the treaty that was signed? You know, 12 hours later, it's all gone. You read the book and you study it, it's different. Mediums have preferences. So they, you know, tools are our artifacts. Constrain and encourage. Extend some senses, in McLuhan's way of putting it, limit others. You know, and they sort of prefer which ones they do. So clearly this new media stuff is going to change us. Right? And of course we've talked throughout the term about politics and socioeconomic outcomes. You know, there isn't any any struggle over how information is going to work in a culture that doesn't have some power implications. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to increase their ability to have influence, and other people are going to decrease it. And we obviously have hopes and dreams for what new media might do in terms of enabling a broader segment of folks, right? But of course, then there are catches, aren't there? Right? If it isn't really about getting to all the information, if it's about getting information about us, then it's different than we thought. If it really isn't getting everybody to really participate in government and social life, but rather it excludes and segments and fragments, then it's different than what we thought. And you could go on with it. We've been over this stuff, right? So, everything from how you do stuff to how you think about stuff gets implicated, gets